It's a local company making worldwide headlines. Keurig Dr Pepper makes a deal to acquire JDE Peet's Coffee. And to discuss the story, we're now joined by Don Seiffert from our partners at the Boston Business Journal. Don, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, so this is an $18 billion deal.
Yep.
Discuss what this means for Keurig Dr Pepper, which is obviously based in Burlington.
Yeah, Keurig Dr Pepper, it was created about 7 years ago when Keurig Green Mountain bought Dr Pepper. I've always thought it was kind of a little bit of a weird combination, a big coffee company buying a big soda company. The Dr Pepper is based in or was based in Plano, Texas. But but what happened is that over the last 6 years, I mean, they've kind of done okay, but probably not as well as they wanted to. So now they are acquiring JDE Peet's. As you said, it's a Dutch company, and it's known not only for Peet's coffee, but also for a whole bunch of other brands like Stumptown, Javalia, Maxwell House, even. Some of these big coffee brands. So I think behind this deal, the coffee business is kind of struggling right now. There's increasing labor costs for picking the beans. There's now tariffs on top of it. Brazil tariffs are like 50%. Vietnam and India are also big coffee producers that has large tariffs. So it's kind of, I think that they really needed to shore up their coffee business, which is why they wanted to get a big brand name under their tent.
Now, part of this deal means that the company is set to split into two divisions. One will focus on refreshment beverages like soda, the other coffee. How will this change the game in both arenas?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the idea is, and this is always the case with big public companies, when they split into two, they kind of, these are investors who say that you're too spread out, you're too unfocused. We need you to focus on your individual. I mean, as I said, I mean, it was a little bit strange maybe for, there's a different audience for Dr. Pepper and Snapple on one side and coffee on the other side. So I think that this will create two companies that are, very laser focused on their own product. I think the coffee company is going to be the one that's based in Burlington still, and that's going to be they are calling it the number one pure play coffee company in the U.S. They don't say by what measure. I assume that means revenue. It just means that it'll be probably the biggest revenue company that only sells coffee in the U.S. and probably the world.
What do you think went wrong for Pete's Coffee?
Yeah, I was looking into that in the last couple of hours. Peet's is a really well-known brand from Berkeley, California. It was from the '60s. It grew from like a corner coffee store. It had just a rabid following for years and years. I mean, it still kind of does. But they went public in 2001. I think they still were going well then. But then they were bought by a company, a private equity company, Jab Holdings, in 2013. A lot of people, I think, thought that the quality went down over those years. The company then it went public again in 2020. This was right, when everybody was, lockdown was just starting and everybody was making their own coffee at home. So it was doing very well for a while, but I think that they just never really caught up to what they had hoped, that brand, the Peet's brand, would live up to. So I think that they were just, struggling against all the other, Starbucks and every other big coffee company.
Let's take it back to the local side of things,
Yep.
Don. Do you see this as creating jobs for Massachusetts or possibly taking some away?
I think on net, I don't think it'll be a huge change, but I bet it'll be a net loss overall. The company did say that this deal is going to bring 400 million in synergies. As anyone knows, who covers business, synergies is usually a euphemism for cost cuts and over the course, and possible layoffs. We'll see over the next year or two after the companies go their separate ways. But I would bet, I don't think it'll be a huge impact, but I would bet on net it'll probably be a few less people in
All
Burlington.
right, Don, managing editor Don Seiffert from our partners at the Boston Business Journal. Thanks so much for the time and helping break this down.
Thank you.